Chuwit says General Prawit Wongsuwan will be Thailand's prime minister at the end of August. This week sees the Pheu Thai Party beginning the week as a diminished force in Thai politics despite its mission to form a government which insiders say is doomed to fail. So too with its de facto leader, Thaksin Shinawatra, who attended birthday celebrations over the weekend as the guest of Cambodia's authoritarian strongman and ruler Hun Sen, who has openly mocked political groupings pursuing full democracy in Thailand. The country is facing a deepening crisis as efforts by the conservative establishment to use the unelected Thai Senate to dictate the makeup and formation of the next government after the May 14 general election grow stronger and more distorted. Prescient political activist and anti-corruption campaigner Chuwit, visit who this week announced that he may have only 8 months to live, is predicting that Thailand's next prime minister will be 78-year-old General Prawit Wongsuwan, who will be elected at the end of August after several further votes in parliament and the failure of the Pheu Thai Party to form a government. On Thai TV, this Sunday, Mr. Chuwit visit predicted that after last week's Pheu Thai Party move to split from its alliance with the Move Forward Party, the next Thai Prime Minister will be 78-year-old Palong Prakarat Party leader and current Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan, right, who will be elected by Parliament at the end of August by a resounding vote with majorities in both chambers. On Sunday, whistleblower and truth activist Chuwit visit predicted that there will be at least 2 rounds of voting to elect Thailand's 30th Prime Minister, saying that the final vote will come sometime at the end of August. Mr. Chuwit predicted that Thailand's next Prime Minister will be the leader of the Palong Prakarat Party, General Prawit Wongsuwan, the current Deputy Prime Minister and one of the 3 brothers-in-arms associated with the 2014 coup d'état in Thailand. General Prawit celebrated his 78th birthday this weekend dressed in jeans and casual clothes and was feted by well-wishers. It is predicted that the former Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Thai Army will be elected with a resounding vote with a majority in both the House of Representatives and Senate behind his nomination when it comes to the floor of Parliament. Thailand is in a full-blown political crisis, which last week saw the Pheu Thai Party wipe out over 20 years of political capital and public support. Chuwit has proved himself to be accurate in his predictions concerning what has now become a full-blown political crisis in Thailand, which has severe long-term implications following the effective scuttling of the Pheu Thai Party by its own hand last week when it turned its back on its democratic ally the Move Forward Party after signing a Memorandum of Understanding for a Government of Hope on the 22nd of May 2023. As a result of that decision, political analysts accept that the Pheu Thai Party has cut itself adrift from its faithful support base and may have wiped out over 20 years of political capital achieved by the Shinawatra family since ex-Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra came to power in 2001 and kept alive through series of movements and political parties after the 2006 and 2014 coup d'états. General Prawit may emerge next week to clinch Prime Minister's job due to a polarized parliament. As another week in Thai politics dawns, the Shinawatra family and Pheu Thai begin it as a spent force in politics, a shadow of what they were before last week's disastrous decision to break ranks with the Move Forward Party. Thaksin's appearance at a celebration of dictatorship in Cambodia this weekend did not help his deteriorating popularity and public image in Thailand. The appearance of Mr. Thaksin and his younger sister, former Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra this weekend at the birthday celebrations of Cambodia's strongman Hun Sen just weeks after a corrupt and sham general election in the kingdom and the proposed transition of power from Hun Sen to his heir and son, General Hun Sen, currently the Commander-in-Chief of the Cambodian Armed Forces, further taints the image and reputation of Mr. Thaksin as a democratic political figure after last week's revelations of backroom deals linking his controversial return to Thailand with the formation of a government. Mr. Thaksin was seated next to General Hun Sen at the dinner held for the Cambodian leader. The close personal friendship of both Mr. Thaksin and his association with an authoritarian dictator shows how out of touch the ex-premier has become with the attitudes and aspirations of young Thai people, which after last week, now also includes a growing number of the older generation, many of them former Pheu Thai Party supporters and voters. Chuwit this week criticized Thaksin's actions in recent days but understood the former Prime Minister's anxiety and urged to return home. On Thai TV, this Sunday, Mr. Chuwit was highly critical of Mr. Thaksin's actions over the last few weeks, although he consistently points out that he understands the pressures and forces that the former Prime Minister is under. Mr. Thaksin is 74 years of age and it is reported widely that he is anxious to be reunited with his family in Thailand after going into self-imposed exile in July 2008 to avoid a prison sentence, one of 4, subsequently handed down by Thai courts relating to fraud and corruption. Last weekend, Chuwit predicted that Mr. Thaksin would postpone his return to the kingdom, which had been scheduled for Wednesday the 10th of August. His pronouncement was quickly criticized by Mr. Thaksin's daughter and Pheu Thai Party prime ministerial nominee, Pheu Thaksin Shinawatra, or Ung, who, on Saturday the 29th July, described Mr. Chuwit's claims as delusional. Fate of Thaksin linked to the political fate of the kingdom as Chuwit predicts his return deal is off at this time. However, in the course of the last week, the 72-year-old former massage parlor boss and colorful politician was again proved correct when Mr. Thaksin, despite Pheu Thai Party denials, confirmed that his return to Thailand had been postponed citing the need for a medical examination. Thaksin received a danger signal while negotiating with conservative elements in the last few weeks. Over the weekend, Mr. Chuwit dismissed this explanation and suggested that Mr. Thaksin had received a danger signal in his ongoing negotiations with power brokers who are believed to be linked with the conservative parties, chief among them the Palong Pracharat Party, which came in fourth in the May 14 general election with just 40 seats in parliament, many of those seats being comprised of constituency MPs elected with particularly strong personal support bases. It is understood that this was related to General Prawit's political future and a maneuver last week which saw him resign from the leadership of the Palong Pracharat Party and then his immediate re-election to the role. General Prawit is a cabinet minister in the current government without a portfolio but is a deputy prime minister with oversight of state security. Bumjathai and Palong Pracharat won 27% of constituency seats, only polling 4% in the party list vote. Move Forward Party's good election result leaves uncertainty as to who will form the next government. Move Forward Party surging in the polls as the general election campaign enters its final week. In opinion polls, before the May 14 election, the Palong Pracharat Party and its leader General Prawit only polled 1% in national surveys and appear to be facing a wipeout. Pheu Thai will fail in its efforts to elect a prime minister, says Chuwit will visit and will be forced to hand over the mantle to the Bumjathai Party. A National Institute of Development Administration, NIDA, opinion poll in Bangkok, in March 2023, did not even show General Prawit in the top 10 in terms of popularity to become prime minister with less than 1% support. Mr. Chuwit's prediction came on a guest appearance on Saturday and Sunday news hours on Thai PBS television, in which he predicted that the Pheu Thai Party would fail in its efforts to have Mr. Sretha Thavisin elected as the prime minister. It follows allegations against his property development company of what might be considered legal tax avoidance and reports that many upper house members or senators are concerned about his position on Article 112 of the Criminal Code relating to lèse majesté, which he proposed to amend while campaigning up to the May 14 poll. Chuwit promises further revelations dealing with the tax affairs of Sretha Thavisin's huge property firm on Monday, including a government document. Mr. Chuwit promised to reveal further evidence against Mr. Sretha's firm on Monday, including a government document to support his claims linked to the purchase of land, which appeared to show that an elaborate although legal scheme to avoid paying in excess of $520 million in taxes to the exchequer on land purchased by Mr. Sretha's property development firm. However, during the week the Sensiri Public Company, in defense of its good name and Mr. Sretha's, made it clear that any property transactions conducted by the company were both fully legal and above board. The firm pointed out that responsibility for tax reporting in connection with the transactions lay with the seller and not the purchaser of the property concerned. The revelations mean that Mr. Sretha's nomination as Prime Minister, when it eventually comes to Parliament after the Constitutional Court has resolved a case referred to it by the Ombudsman over proceedings on July 19, when the re-nomination of Mr. Pitalim Jaruan Red of the Move Forward Party was blocked by parliamentary regulation and a subsequent vote ordered by the Parliament's President, Mr. Wan Muhammad Noor Mada, is likely to be fraught with difficulty. Senators, including Senator Jatin Sawang, predict that Sretha's nomination faces a rocky passage in Parliament, questions over tax and Article 112. Senators speaking to the media this week have gone on record to suggest that they believe Mr. Sretha will face stiff opposition to his nomination for the role. They noted it was the duty of senators to ensure that any prime minister elected to the job was in keeping with Section 160 of the Constitution, which specifies that any government leader must be a person with evident honesty while exhibiting ethical behavior and a high standard of probity. This week, various senators referred to the revelations revealed in a series of press conferences by Mr. Chuwit, detailing the controversial land purchases, which appear to have been orchestrated in repeated transactions between the purchaser and the seller of the land. Speaking to the media on Tuesday, Last Senator Jayton Sawang, who has long advocated the need for a Thai prime minister committed to protecting the monarchy or the country's highest institution, said that any proceedings in parliament to elect Mr. Sretha as prime minister would have to see a debate in which Mr. Sretha would put forward his vision for the role. He foresaw a heated debate on the floor of parliament and great difficulty in Mr. Sretha obtaining the votes required, effectively killing off the businessman-turned-politician's ambitions before ever holding office. Chuwit says he is dying, may only have 8 months to live. Wishes to carry on his crusade against corruption and organized crime activity in Thailand. In the course of his revelations last week, Mr. Chuwit revealed that he had terminal liver cancer, which had now escalated to stage 4 or the final stage, with the growth entering other organs of his body. Chuwit said doctors had given him 8 to 15 months to live. At the commencement of one of his colorful briefings to the media last week, he told reporters that he had just come from a chemotherapy session at a local hospital and went on to explain that he was dedicating the remainder of his life left to reveal the truth about current affairs in Thailand, and particularly towards a mission he honed successfully last year, of exposing criminality and corruption. Mr. Chuwit told reporters that this activity gives him great satisfaction and inner peace in his last days. Sources within the Pheu Thai Party have all along suggested that General Prawit harbors ambitions at a later stage in this political power game. His revelation, on Sunday, that General Prawit may be Thailand's next prime minister has been echoed by sources close to the Pheu Thai Party since June.